Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a moment to become nice and comfortable, seated on a cushion or a towel, a block, something that will allow your spine and the back of your neck to sit nice and long and tall, to open up your chest, to open up your diaphragm, and to open up your heart. Softly close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes, soften your shoulders, and soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale, and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is purity. So as a review, long before the holidays, we were talking about the first limb of yoga, first of 8 limbs, which are the Niyamas, and those are guidelines on how to interact with the world. And today we're going to start talking about the second limb of yoga, the Niyamas, which are guidelines on how to interact with yourself. So Saucha is Sanskrit for purity. And Debbie, or I'll call her Deborah Adele, who wrote the book Niyamas and Niyamas, she wrote, Saucha invites us to purify our bodies, our thoughts, and our words. As we purify ourselves physically and mentally, we become less cluttered and heavy. Purification brings about a brightness and clarity to our essence. So for each of us, taking steps to cleanse and purify ourselves will look different. Maybe increasing your water intake, kind of detoxing your inside system, or perhaps a day of dietary cleansing, or a day of speaking nothing of harm or untruths. See if our politicians can do that. Whatever form purity takes, its intent is to lighten the load. Purification works on our insides and changes our very essence. So for our pranayama this morning, there's one that really speaks to this. It's the Nadi Shodhana, or Nadi being channel, meaning channel in Sanskrit, and Shodhana is purification. So each of us have 3 nadis. It's N-A-D-I, apostrophe S. First one, main one, goes from the base of our spine all the way up to the crown of our head. That's a linear one. And then there's 2 that come up from the base and they cross over that linear first nadi. And where they cross is actually where your chakras are set up. So to cleanse out that whole system, it's a very important part of being well balanced and in good health, is to have your chakra system in line. So one of the nadis actually comes up from the base and exits through the left nostril. And then the other one comes up through the base and crosses over and exits through the right nostril. So when we do the breathing technique, Nadi Shodhana, which is also known as alternate nostril breathing, it cleans out those channels. It helps to clean them out. And this particular breathing technique is pretty revered. I mean, it has a slew of benefits to it, besides this purification thing. But I think I know I've told the story of how it can relieve anxiety, even to the point where there's a classic story of a young gentleman who tried everything in the book, from medication to therapy to everything, to try to relieve anxiety. And this particular breathing technique was the thing that worked for him. George, a former yogi with us, his daughter, who's a professional dancer, said that dancers often do this technique before they go out on stage to relieve anxiety. But so it has many different uses. This book that I'm reading, Breath by James Nestor, cites it too, among many other ancient breathing techniques. But that's one particular he mentions, and actually puts the technique into the appendix. So it's a very good breathing technique to practice. I think, just a couple minutes of it will work. So to do it, and we've done this many times before, we usually use the mudra Vishnu. So the Vishnu mudra is taking your hand and bringing your index and your middle finger down. And then you're using your thumb and your ring finger to do your alternate nostril breathing. So you can do that by just, going like that, whatever works best for you. But in traditional yogi style, it's done with the Vishnu, which is a balancing, or a mudra for balance. So let's just do a few moments of this. I'm actually going to go to the mat and do it. We're not going to have a meditation today, so we're just going to kind of work with this and do a few moments of this Nadi Shodhana. So again, you would take your thumb and press it against your right nostril, inhaling through the left. When you reach the top of the inhale, then you would switch fingers. So you'd bring your ring finger over to your left nostril and exhale through your right nostril. Then you inhale through your right nostril, because you have no other choice and you want to make sure that your mouth is closed. And then at the top of the inhale, you switch fingers, bringing your thumb to your right nostril and exhaling through the left. So each time you reach the top of the inhale, you switch fingers. So continue on, and I will meet you on the mat. you can return to your natural breath. Other benefits, should have mentioned is that, and James Nestor even mentions it in the book, that the left nostril promotes relaxation, and the right nostril, that Nadi channel, promotes energy. So it kind of balances you by having both channels working. And there's another technique, or not technique, but how to use it when you're trying to get to sleep is, if you're a side sleeper, have your left nostril up and open so that it's mostly exposed to the air, and that being the relaxation channel that will help you to get to sleep. And conversely, to wake up in the morning, flip over to your other side so that your right nostril is exposed and able to capture the best amount of air. And you can even, if you're relaxing, you can even just kind of inhale and exhale through your left if you're trying to relax and calm down, and vice versa. You don't have to do the back and forth. So enough Nadi Shodhana. So let's start with just plain old sun breaths this morning. So we're going to bring our fingertips to our side on our mat and inhale, sweeping our hands up overhead. Big inhale, and then exhale, bringing them back down. Inhale again, slowly with control. And then exhale, bringing your hands down. Inhale up. And exhale down. Inhale up. And when we reach the top, we're going to twist our torso to the left and bring our right hand down to our left kneecap and our left hand down behind our hips. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale with our torso twisted to the left. And then inhale, sweeping our hands, bringing them back to center, and then twisting over to the right, bringing our left hand down on our right kneecap, right hand behind our hips. Another nice big inhale and exhale. And then let's flow for a little bit. So here, sweep our hands up and over, twisting to the left, coming down on the exhale. And then gently lifting our hands back up again with a big inhale, twisting over to the other side, bringing our hands down. And then sweeping up again with the inhale, twisting over to the other side, down. Inhale again, sweeping up, and one last time, sweeping over to the right and bring our hands down, returning back to center. With your legs kind of side by side, one in front of the other, and I have my right leg in front of my left foot. We're going to do a seated forward fold, and just gently walk out and finding your sweet spot, that spot where your breath is nice and flowing still. You feel it getting a little shallow or a little halting, you just kind of back up a little bit. I noticed this when I was practicing. I don't, taking a week off, it's like, oh, I'm not going down as far as I did previous week. So my body's still recovering. And then grab your hands over to the right, bringing your torso as close to over your leg as you can, that's comfortable, keeping your breath flowing nice and evenly. And then walk your hands back. Bring your right knee up so it's up toward the sky. Wrap your left arm around your right leg, bringing your right hand behind your back. Nice twist, and a lot of twists today. And then come back to center, switch legs. So BKS Iyengar has some of his favorite poses were twist. He felt that the twisting helped purify our organs kind of by wringing them out. So that's kind of the theme today of all the twists. So let's walk our hands again out in front of us, getting to that sweet spot. And then crab our hands over to the left, bringing our torso over our left thigh as much as possible, keeping it comfortable. And then walking our hands back, bringing our knee up toward the sky, wrapping our arm around our knee and bringing our left hand behind, twisting our torso to the left. All right, come back to center. We're gonna roll down on the mat. So you can choose whichever method you'd like to roll down. I think I'm going to extend my legs today and just kind of slowly roll down one vertebrae at a time. Going down to the mat. Bring knees to the chest and give them a nice hug. Maybe just rock back and forth a little bit. I think I've mentioned before, this is the way I love to get on the mat. One of the first things I do is just kind of wake up my spine. Alrighty, and we're going to bring our legs so that they are in a 90-degree angle as if we're sitting in a chair. Place our hands down on the mat alongside our legs for support. And we're going to just lift our toes up toward the sky. So bring them up and then back down to the 45 degrees. Inhale up and then exhale back down. Feel your lower back connecting with the mat, kind of tucking your navel to your spine. This is a nice exercise for your spine, but also kind of works on your core muscles as well. A gentle way. And then back down. We'll do a few more of these. You go at your own pace. And then one last time, up. And then come back down. So we're in the chair and we're going to put both hands on our knees and just roll over to our right side. So our legs are going to stay in that chair pose. We're going to roll over so that we're on our right shoulder. Extend both hands out so that both palms are touching and the arms at shoulder height. And then we're going to do some rainbows. So we inhale, sweeping our hand all the way up, making a nice arc, bringing it back to the mat or to the floor behind us. And see if you can bring your shoulder, your left shoulder, to the mat as you do this. And if you'd like, you can use the drishti of looking at your thumb as you move your hand in that arc. So we're going to bring that hand all the way back, arcing it over again, as if we're making some rainbows, and bringing it back to our right palm. We'll do that again a couple times. So sweeping slowly with control. Keeping your gaze on your thumb as a drishti, one of the drishti spots. And then back Again, to the other side. Palms come together. And one last time, sweeping the hand up and over. Inhaling and then exhaling, coming down. And then coming back, all the way back, bringing your palms together. And then we roll back onto our back, bringing our legs back to that chair pose, and we'll do that again. We'll do it on the other side. So first we'll bring our legs into that 90-degree angle and then point our toes up to the sky. Arms alongside, palms on the mat to support us. And then lowering it back to the chair pose. Inhale, lift your toes back up and back down. And you can go at your own pace, doing a couple of these. Inhale, back up. Exhale, back down. Navel's tucked to the spine, so you feel your lower back on the mat. Then one last time, and we'll meet back in that 90-degree angle. We'll put both hands on our knees and just roll over to our left side. Again, our left arm now is at shoulder height, fully extended out, bringing our right palm to that left palm, and then sweeping, making that arc, that nice rainbow all the way up over, coming down, bringing that right shoulder blade to the mat if it's comfortable. And then inhale, bringing the hand back up slowly with control. Bringing the two palms together. And then another arc, sweeping up, all the way over, and going at your own pace. And then coming back. And one last time, sweeping the hand up and over. Exhaling as it comes down, just relaxing your body into that pose. And then bringing your hand back. So you're bringing your palms together. And then you come back so that you're on your back. And we're going to roll up. So you can either roll over to your side and roll up, or you can rock and roll on your mat, bringing yourself up to a seated position. And then we're going to come into tabletop. Tabletop, our wrists right below our shoulders, knees right below our hips. Fingers are spread out nice and gripping the mat. Pushing gently down into the mat so that we create that space between our shoulders and our ears. Navel's tucked to our spine, flattening our back. Then we'll just turn our head gently to the right. And then bringing it back to center. Turning your head gently to the left, just like you're saying no. Again, to the right. And back. And then to the left. And back. We're going to come to cat-cows. So we're going to round our back, dropping our head and tailbone down. Really feeling the stretch in that spine. And then inhale, lifting up, sending our gaze straight ahead, our tailbones up for cow, and then rounding the back, exhaling for cat, dropping our head and tailbone down, really stretching out our spine. And then inhale, lifting our head, tailbone up. And then back to cow, or back to cat rather. And just continue on a nice pace. Inhales and exhales. And then come back to tabletop. Keeping your knees and hands where they are. We're going to do some bird dogs. Usually we bring the knees together, but this one we're going to need that, I think, more of a tripod situation. So we're going to lift the right leg up, send the left arm up, and then when we bring our arm and knee together underneath us, I think that provides a little bit more stability for us to have our knee there. And then extend both arm and leg out. And then bring our knee and elbow to touch underneath. Extend it back out. All the while you're kind of pushing down in your right hand, maintain that space between your ear and your elbow. Elbow and knee come together again. Extend both arm and leg out. And we'll do that 2 more times. 1. And extend out. And 2. And then you bring both back down. Come back to your tabletop position. And then we'll do that on the other side. So lifting your left leg up, extending your right arm forward. You bring the right elbow and left knee together underneath your torso. And extend out. Inhale, bringing them both together. And extend out. Inhale, bringing them both together. Exhale, extend them out. Woo. Inhale together. Extend out. And one last time. Inhale, touching together. Extend out. And then bringing yourself back to tabletop. We'll drop our hips down toward our ankles, coming into child's pose. Just kind of stretch our spine out. And then come back to tabletop. Tuck our toes under. Walk the hands back so you come up onto your tippy toes. Pushing down into your balls of your feet, come up to mountain pose. We'll take a moment in mountain pose. We'll lift our toes up off the mat and bringing them back down, and lifting our heels up off the mat and bringing them back down. And really feel that connection, that security, stability that mountain pose brings to you. And then we'll go on with the essentials of good posture. So our legs are nice and straight and strong with a gentle bend in our knees. Navel's tucked to our spine. Spine's nice and long. Shoulders are soft and rolled back. Chin slightly tucked back toward your neck. The crown of your head's reaching up to the sky. Sweeping our hands up and over. Exhale, bending our knees, bringing our hands down to the mat. And just check in here for a moment, see how everything is going. And then lifting our hands to our shins, flattening out the back. You can bring your hands, slide them all the way up to the tops of your thighs, making like little chicken wing elbows. Really feel that elongation in your back spine. And then send your hands down to the mat, the crown of your head down toward the mat. And just let yourself hang here. Have gravity take over for a moment. And sweep your hands from the mat all the way up overhead. And as we bring them up, we're going to come up onto our tippy toes. And then lowering our hands slowly. We're going to lower our heels back down to the mat. Synchronizing, there we go, with our breath and our hands. So slowly sweeping our hands up. We'll come up onto our tippy toes. Woo! A little too far up, too quick. And then come back down, slowly with control. Really feel it in your feet, where the control is. And one last time, sweeping up, inhaling, lifting up onto your toes. And then slowly coming down with control. And then we'll bring our hands all the way down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. And then our hands to our shins, flattening out our back, nice long spine. And then dropping the crown of our head down toward the mat. And sweeping our hands all the way up. And bringing them up overhead. We're going to then bend our knees. Our feet should be hip width apart, so just kind of check on that first. And we're going to go into chair pose. So leaving our arms up, we're going to bend our knees, lowering our hips down toward the mat, keeping our knees behind our big toes. Try to come so that our thighs are parallel to the mat. And then lift up and bring our arms down. Sweep our arms back up again. I want to keep them all the way up there all the time. And we'll do chair pose again. Lowering slowly with control. Checking in, make sure our knees behind our toes. And then come back up again. Exhale, bring your hands down. Inhale, lifting our hands back up one more time. And bringing our hips down toward the mat. And then back up. Well done, everyone. Bring our hands down. Bending our knees, we're going to bring our hands all the way down to the mat. And then lifting our hands to our shins, flattening out the back. Then dropping our head down to the mat, toward the mat. Top of our head toward the mat. Don't drop your head on the mat. And sweep your hands all the way up overhead. Then we're going to bring our arms out in front of us. We'll do, I like to call them 180s. So similar to what we did with the rainbow arms, we're going to bring our right hand in an arc all the way behind us. Left hand comes to our right shoulder. And then back again. And we'll do that on the other side. So creating that arc with the left hand. Bringing our right hand to our left shoulder. And we're following our left hand with our gaze. Hands come back out in front of us. We'll do it one more time each side. Right hand creates that arc. We're following it with our eyes. Nice gentle twist. Coming back. And on the left side. And we'll come back. Lift our hands up overhead. Big inhale, exhale, bring our hands back down to the mat. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, sending the crown of the head down toward the mat. And then sweeping our hands up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. Palms come to the back of our hips. We're supported back bend. We'll have our feet hip width apart. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Chins tucked slightly toward your chest. You just drop your shoulders back, keeping your chin tucked toward your chest. To the point where you find that nice sweet spot where your breath is flowing nice and uniform, nice and strong. And then coming back to mountain pose. Well done, everyone. Moving it on. So we're going to sweep our hands up overhead. Big inhale, exhale, bringing our hands both down to the mat. Sending our right foot out, coming into runner's lunge. Runner's lunge, so you have your right knee over your right knee. This is my left knee over my left ankle. Your right leg's nice and strong, heels pushing to the back of the mat. You put your right hand down onto the mat, then we'll sweep our left hand from the mat all the way up overhead and following your hand with your eyes. For runner's lunge with a twist. We'll bring our left hand down. Bring our right knee down to the mat, coming into low lunge. We're going to walk our hands back. And as we do, we're going to straighten out the front leg, having the toes flex up to the sky. And then walk our hands back. So we come back to that low lunge, right to the point where our knee is over our ankle. And then we're going to lift both hands up for a low lunge. With the arms up. And then bringing our hands back down to the mat. We'll do that 2 more times. So walk our hands back. As we do, we're straightening out our left leg, flexing our toes up toward the sky. And then walk our hands back to the point where our left knee comes right over our ankle. And then lift both arms up to the sky. And then back down again. And walk our hands back. Straightening the leg, flexing the toes up to the sky. And then walk our hands back. Knees over ankle, right at that spot. We can lift our hands up to the sky. And then bring them back down. We'll tuck our back toe under, coming back into runner's lunge. Put our right hand down and send our left hand back up to the sky for a twist again. And then when we bring our left hand back down the mat, bring it alongside of your right hand. So both hands are on the right side of your foot, coming into lizard pose. And lizard pose, you can stay here if you like. You can bring your elbows down to the mat, or you can bring your knee and elbows down to the mat, whichever works for you. 3 options, and we'll come bringing our hands back to the mat again. And if you had your knee down, lift it up. We're going to walk our hands to our back foot, walk them all along the side of the mat. When we come to our back foot, we're going to come into a one-legged squat. So our right knee is pointing straight ahead. Our arms and hands are flanking that. And our left leg is nice and straight, flexing our left toes up to the sky. And then we'll walk our hands back. You can do that, coming back into the runner's lunge position. We'll pivot our back foot down so that our heel and our foot's on the mat. And then pushing into the front foot, we're going to lift up for warrior 1. Lifting our arms up to the sky. And then bring our arms, both arms, out in front of us. We're going to do 180. So with the right hand, we're going to make that arc. And bringing our left hand to our right shoulder. Just follow our gaze with our eyes on our right hand. And then come back. So our hands out in front of us. Knees bent in that lunge. Warrior 1. We'll do that again. That 180 arc. Following our hands with our eyes. And then back again. And one last time. Making that arc with our right hand, following it with our eyes. And when we reach the back, we're going to take our left arm and extend it to the front of the mat and come into warrior 2. Nice and easy peasy. So we're nice. You may want to scooch, just get your best warrior 2 on. And then lifting our left hand up, reverse warrior, a peaceful warrior. And then bringing our left arm down to our left thigh, sending our right hand up to the sky, extended side angle. And then bringing that right hand down to the mat, back to runner's lunge. Pushing in our front foot, we're going to lift our back foot and bring it to join the right or left foot so that we're in forward fold. And then gently roll ourselves up. Hands come up overhead. Big inhale. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Well done. We'll do the other side now. So sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Exhale, bringing both hands down to the mat. We'll send our left leg out and come into runner's lunge. So our knee, right knee now, is over our right ankle. Back leg is nice and straight and strong. Heels pushing to the back of the mat. Left hand comes down to the mat. Right hand sweeps up to the sky. You can follow it with your eyes. And then coming back down. Bring the left knee down to the mat. Top of your left foot comes down. And then we'll walk our hands back, straightening out our front leg, sending our toes up toward the sky. And then walk our hands back. Come into the lunge where our knee's right over our ankle. When you feel that spot, you can then lift your arms up to the sky. And then come back down. We'll walk our hands back. Straightening out our front leg, flexing our toes up. And then walking back. Knee comes over ankle. Sweep our hands up to the sky and then back down again. And one last time, walk our hands back, straightening the leg, sending the toes up to the sky, and walking our hands forward. Knees right over the ankle, sweeping our hands up to the sky, and come back down. So tucking our left toe under, coming back up to runner's lunge. We place our left hand on the mat again, sweeping our right hand all the way up to the sky. And then when we sweep it back down, bring it to the left side of your foot. So both hands are side by side and we're in lizard pose. So you can bring your elbows down to the mat. And if you'd like, you could bring your knee down to the mat as well. And then bringing our hands back to lizard, tucking our toe back under. We'll walk our hands along the long side of the mat, coming down to our left foot. And we're gonna send our left knee out straight ahead. Arms or hands are alongside, framing that knee. And our right leg is nice and straight with our toes flexed up to the sky. And then walk your hands back down to your right foot, coming back to runner's lunge. We'll pivot the back foot down and then push down our front foot, coming up into warrior one, lifting our hands up to the sky. And then bringing them down to shoulder height. We'll do the 180s. So we're gonna bring our left hand out into the arc. And our right hand comes and rests on our left shoulder. And then sweeping back. Both hands are out front. And we'll do that again. So make that arc with your left hand, bringing your right hand to your left shoulder, following your left hand with your gaze, and then bringing it back. Both hands out front. And one last time, sweeping our left hand in that arc. The right hand comes to the left shoulder. And then we're going to take that right hand and extend it, have it so that it's pointing to the front of the mat, and come into warrior two. Again, you may want to just scooch into your best feeling warrior two. Send your eyes to the right fingertips now. And then dropping the left hand back, raising the right hand up to the sky, keeping the front knee bent for peaceful warrior. And then bring the right forearm down to the right thigh, sweeping the left hand up for extended side angle. And then bringing the left hand all the way down to the mat, pivoting, coming back into runner's lunge. And we're going to push down into our right foot, bringing the left foot up to meet the right foot, coming into forward fold. And sweeping our hands all the way up overhead, big inhale. Hands come together, palms come to heart center. Well done. Alrighty, we bring our pinky toes out to the edges of the mat, tucking our heels in at 45 degrees. Hands at heart center, lower our hips down to the mat. Sending our torso between our legs. Our backs of our elbows are resting on the inner part of our knees. And you can slide your Anjali Mudra, your prayer hands down toward the mat for a little bit more stretch if you like. And then we'll bring our sit bones down to the mat, come into staff pose. So staff pose, our legs are straight, the toes are flexed up to the sky. You can make little fists, maybe push down, lifting your hips off the mat and settling them back down so you really feel that nice snug connection. Spine is nice and straight, strong, tall. So now we're going to do what do I call them? Oh, half spinal twists. It's like, I always forget what these are called. So we're going to take our right foot and bring it on the other side of our left leg. Our left leg stays extended. So our right foot's resting on the mat on the outer side of our left knee. And then we're going to take our, first let's bring our right hand in back of our hips to open up our chest. Now we're going to take our left hand, this is going to be a little bit more twisted than we usually do, and put it on the outer side of our right knee. So we have a little bit of a torque going on there, and you decide, you're your own guide in this, see how much torque you'd like. So if you want to put it around your arm, around your knee, so it's a little less torque, you could do so. But otherwise, you can put your elbow on the outer part of your knee, twisting your head so it's looking over your right shoulder. And then come back. We'll do that on the other side. So back to staff pose. And then bring your left foot, landing it on the mat just outside your right knee. And then bringing your left hand behind your hips and bringing your right elbow on the outer edge of your left knee and slowly twist so that you're looking over your left shoulder. And then back, center, and roll down. Whichever way you'd like, express or knees bent or knees straight. I think I did a little bit of all of it right there. And we'll prepare for Shavasana. So bringing your heels to the corners of the mat and just letting your feet flop open. And just do a body check from your toes, maybe wiggling them and then letting them relax. Effort to relaxation all the way up, ankles, and then relax them. And then tighten your knees and then relax them. Tighten your hips and bring that navel to the spine and then relax. Bringing your arms alongside and just letting them drop as heavy as they can be into the mat. Relaxing your collarbone, your chest, your shoulders into the mat. That's the hardest one, I think, to do. Just really feeling that relaxation in your shoulders. And then placing a gentle smile on your lips. Relax here. Today I have a poem for you by Effie Waller-Smith. She was born in January 1879. The title is Beautiful Snow. Beautiful snow, so pure and white, dancing through the air you go, falling so gently, softly and light, from the clouds above to the earth below. Beautiful snow, so pure and white, the crowning beauty of winter cold, falling both by day and by night, falling on mountaintop and wold. Beautiful snow, so pure and white, falling gently on vale and dale, covering the cottage of the poor and the mansion of the rich as well. Beautiful snow, so pure and white, falling on things both high and low, hiding the fallen leaves out of sight, while o'er the brown tree you thickly blow. Beautiful snow, white and pure, oh, how I love to see you fall. Oh, I'm certain, yes, I'm sure, nothing's as pretty as snow at all. Lord, make my heart as pure and white as the snow when it falls from above. Fill me with thy truth and light and sweet, beautiful faith and love.